this module, we'll talk about email, the risks associated with email, junk mail, spam, and decisions you can make to keep yourself safe when using email. Email is a way of corresponding with people over the internet. There's always a sender and someone who receives that email, but it is different from a letter because you have to ensure that the sender is actually who they say they are, and you have to make sure that the content of the message that you're receiving is actually genuine. Use common sense when using email. Could the sender be somebody who's trying to disguise themselves? Could the message perhaps not be genuine? Be careful when opening attachments or when clicking on links. Those could contain malware, they could contain viruses, they could be a way of extracting all sorts of personal information from you and from your computer without you even noticing. Be careful even if the message comes from a good friend or a corporation, because that sender could be spoofed. And so it might be an attempt to try to extract personal information from you. Anytime somebody asks you to give up personal information, be very suspicious, especially if that comes with a sense of urgency that you need to do things now and you need to do things immediately. So keep that sense of a second thought, of suspicion in mind every time you interact with email and an email message. Junk and spam email are kind of like the flyers that you get in your mailbox. You didn't really want them. Much of it is benign, simply trying to get you to buy a product or to advertise a service. But don't forget that some of it may very well be malicious in intent. Now, your service provider, of course, already filters out much of it before it ever gets to you. Your own email application will have a spam filter. You can adjust the sensitivity of that filter. That will create a spam folder. You might want to check that folder from time to time to make sure that no genuine email has found its way in there. And when it comes to junk and spam email in Canada, if companies want to send you such correspondence, you actually have to consent. And so if they send you that correspondence without you having consented, then that is actually illegal and you can report it to government. When making decisions about email, think of it like crossing the street. By and large, it's perfectly safe to cross the street, but we all know that you want to look left and right before you do so. And so when it comes to email, you want to make sure you look at the sender, you look at the subject of the message, and you look at the body of the message to see whether those together actually make sense. Would your friend or a corporation send you an email with that sort of title? Would they send you an email where they don't address you by name or they address you differently than they normally would? Would they send you an email that has all sorts of spelling mistakes in it? Would they send you an email that is even in a different language? Or would they possibly even send you an email asking you to send a whole bunch of money because they got arrested in some strange country and need to get out of jail? Anything that doesn't seem to quite make sense, be extra cautious and suspicious and think twice before taking action. This concludes our module on email. Be sure to check out our other videos on cybersecurity.